There are two features I use to make insanely reusable components. There are object rest properties and JSX spread attributes. JSX spread attributes, as the name suggests, is part of JSX. Object rest properties isn't quite a part of JavaScript yet, but there is a Babel transform for it, and many toolkits ship with it by default. So there's a pretty good chance that if you're already using a lot of ES 2015 features or you work in a React app, it's already in there ready to go. So how do we use them? Well, let's say where I'm using greeting, I want to style it red. Style color red. You might have expected it to turn red, but it didn't. And that was super disappointing. And the reason is because the only two props that my component knows about right now are name and punk. Now, I could also concern it with style, but this is going to be an endless cat and mouse game. Someone's going to want to add class name or ID or some data attributes. And I don't want to have to update this component every time they want to do something else that seems totally reasonable to do. This is where I use object rest properties. I use this fancy ... syntax and assign everything else that I haven't essentially pulled out into another variable. In this case, I'll call it rest props. So all the rest of the props. Now the question is, how do I get them onto my component? Well, again, I can pass props to this h1 component. This is where JSX spread attributes comes in. It uses a similar ... syntax to spread this new object as properties across the component. Did you see that? It turned red. So without having to explicitly tell my component about style, I'm able to take all the other props and just put them on this h1. And as far as the h1's concerned, it's like I just took this style and plopped it right on the h1. This little power combo here is the key to making highly reusable, restylable components.